Hello,
I'm Karena.
and I'm Jamie.
Welcome to As Told by ADHD. This podcast is the brainchild of two best friends with ADHD who share a passion for learning and a knack for finding the most fascinating tidbits of knowledge.
Each week, we embark on a wild and hilarious journey of discovery as we dive headfirst into topics that pique our curiosity. From dark folklore to bizarre statistics, cultural ceremonies to famous dead people, we're here to entertain, educate, and tickle your funny bone.
This week on As Told by ADHD, we are talking about some badass women. How else can we explain it? Women that changed the course of history, women who took charge, women who everybody just needs to know about or be reminded of.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
She has been waiting. She's been itching to speak for a long time.
I'm itching, literally, but also figuratively. Also, this is going to be our first part 3 because I don't know how to not research, I guess. I don't know.
And
so
I am probably going to be talking longer than 20 minutes. My story is actually kind of a doozy. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your story.
Also, background, quick disclaimer. I moved. So we're working on this. It'll get aesthetically pleasing and not give map anymore here soon.
No more map.
It's giving sterile. It's giving map. So.
Okay. Evens or odds?
Odds.
It's evens.
Let's get it.
I'm so excited.
Let's get
I'm so
into
excited.
it. Let's get
So,
into it.
the next 2 episodes, all me. The third one will be her. But right now, I'm going to bring you a story that is... I'm speechless. You know what I mean? Karena, I know how you love... I know how you love K-dramas.
I do.
Right?
Oof. Yes.
Same.
Oof.
That being said, this story is giving K-drama.
I'm so
Even
excited.
though it's not in Korea.
But that means twists and turns. That means every question answered. That means drawing your attention and realizing that it's been a week and you've hardly eaten and or showered and are wondering what happened.
That's true. Okay. I'm taking you to Asia. More importantly, I'm taking you to China.
Oh.
We're going to Imperial China.
Oh.
So this is... Yeah.
Oh. It's like you're speaking my love language. My love language is Chinese drama in the Imperial era.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I will be talking today about the first and only Empress of China.
First and only.
First and only.
That means she messed some stuff up. Not like in a bad way. That just means that she just took it by the reins and just it up.
I'm just going to tell you the story. Okay. So, I'm going to be talking about the first female emperor. And I'm going to specifically say emperor throughout it because there's 2 different words. There's emperor and empress, right? I'm going to butcher a lot of names and a lot of Chinese words, and I apologize.
Please
correct me. Insert here. So, empress translates to Hongqiao, and in that time period, there was no queen. There was no empress. It was the wife of the emperor. You know? So...
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the language gets a little I don't want to say fuzzy. It gets a little construed with the translations and things, but she called herself emperor.
That makes sense because it's the dominant figure of the country. So
right.
Yeah, I would understand that she would use the masculine term.
Right. So But she did identify as a woman. She
Right,
was
right.
very
Yeah.
womanly. So, but that's why specifically she calls herself emperor later on. Before we get deep into the story, I want to use my favorite storytelling medium and have a fun little verbal flashback.
Okay.
So, imagine this. Close your eyes.
Okay.
It's early in the morning in the imperial court, and the palace hall is filled with ministers in their ceremonial robes. In the back of the hall, on a raised platform of a polished stone, sits Wu Zetian. Her husband, the late emperor, has only been gone a few months, and Wu is not yet the ruler of the Zhang dynasty. She's calm. She's composed. It is announced that a scroll had been intercepted from the rebels against Wu and her ascension to power. A scroll is passed to the palace reader. It's a guy whose literal job is just to read stuff. And the scroll itself is a fiery manifesto from a poet turned rebel, Luo Binwang. Here's some quotes. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Her heart is that of a wolf, her nature a viper, and the court tenses. But Wu smiles. The reader continues. She steps over corpses to climb to power. Blood flows like water wherever she moves.
Slay.
She lets out a soft laugh. She's not offended. She's not angry, but she's impressed. The reader reaches a line that ends up changing her demeanor. The soil of the late emperor's tomb has not yet dried. Where can a 6-foot orphan be entrusted? And this line hits different. Everyone can feel it. Her smile fades and the room goes silent. After a long moment, she speaks, with her voice perfectly steady. Such talent. And my chancellors failed to recruit him. You can open your eyes. So, that actually happened. And I will say, China in this period has some of the best documented records of this.
Oh, yeah.
Also, we're in the 600s, 600 CE. So,
No, China had their ish together. Like, you can... Have you, like, seen their, like, their libraries, like, their historical libraries? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually very nice to look at.
Right. And I believe that in this time period, they had people sitting, kind of like if you were to go to a courthouse today, you'd see somebody sitting there, like, stenographering.
A stenographer, yeah. Is it a stenographer? Yeah, it's a
stenographer.
Stenographer, yeah.
Yeah, they would be transcribing. So I believe they had one of those back then, and that's why it's so detailed in, like, how everything's written and how we have such detailed things today.
Right.
So, how do you feel about that little story? That little, like, flashback I gave you?
I imagined it like the room was kind of dark. There was, like, yellow, like, lighting maybe from, like, candles. All I see is just everybody lined up, quiet, looking down at the ground, and then someone just very quietly just walking in with their head down, and, you know, yeah, and her just being like, yeah, all the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Well, let's get into her past a little bit.
Please.
And how she got to be in the palace.
Okay.
Are you excited? I'm excited.
I want to hear all the tea, all the drama, all the... What else do you heard? What other words are there?
So, Wu Zetian was born February 17th, 624 CE, making her an Aquarius. We love an Aquarius queen. She was born into a well-off family. Her father was a merchant. Her mother was from a minor aristocratic family. And it should be noted that in this time, in China, was the Confucianism period. Do you know anything about the Confucianism period?
Confucius.
Yeah.
Sir Confucius. He was not confused. Sorry. It was a meme.
He wasn't.
Sorry. Please.
That's wild. Do you know
Oh my
anything about
gosh.
Confucianism? Like the practice of, not really practice. I don't know how to like.
Yeah. I did look into it when I was looking into cults, because people would try to take those ideals, and I think the reason I didn't do is because you were also going to China, if I'm correct, when we did cults.
Oh, in cults I was in Japan.
But yeah. But go ahead.
Okay, so Confucianism is basically like Chinese philosophy that society works best when everybody sticks to their designated roles. So like respect authority and keeping an orderly life.
You're in
right?
your social class and you can't leave unless you're blessed somehow.
Well, it's less of like you can't leave.
Mhm.
Like I think more in India, it's like there's a caste system. You cannot leave your caste, but like you can kind of like.
Well, I know that
it's very yeah.
Yeah, I know the only ones that were really allowed to move in a fairly easy way, like the easiest way, were soldiers. If they weren't killed, soldiers could move up really quickly.
Basically, it's rulers lead fairly and people obey. It's parents care for children and children respect their parents. Husbands protect, wives support, older siblings guide while younger siblings follow. Stuff like that. So it's like, it's kind of rooted in like patriarchal, like
Gotcha.
I guess it is kind of a hierarchy of sorts with men being on top, but all of that being said, I say that because all the documentation of this time period is focused around men and focused around the man of the house and their family. Like the family is like a side note. You know what I mean? So I don't have a ton of information about her mom other than she's from an aristocratic family. But I do know that her father was a merchant. Back to Wu. From what I could find, it seemed like her parents recognized from a very early age that she was extremely intelligent. And they were very, very supportive of her learning to read and write, which it wasn't like unheard of at the time that women were reading and writing. It was just less common because they didn't really need to, because there wasn't a lot of jobs where you would need to for women. They also wanted her to learn classic Chinese literature. They wanted her to learn to play instruments, and they wanted her to learn horsemanship, which was extremely uncommon at the time.
Yeah, I wonder how they got permission to like do that. Like they didn't get ridiculed. It wasn't like a scandal or anything like that.
Well, there were women who had horsemanship, but it was more like they had, I'm having a hard time putting it into words. It was more like just uncommon, you know, like it wasn't forbidden. Like in Western cultures, it was kind of forbidden and kind of seemed like witchcraft almost, if you could like do all of these things, you know?
Wow.
But like as far as that time period, China was pretty progressive. But even with all of these things that she was allowed to do, being a woman, she was still expected to obey and be submissive, right?
Right.
Her father actually had a successful business and was a mid-rank government post. So that means that she grew up in a world where she was around a lot of people who would talk strategy, politics, leadership. So she was absorbing that from a very young age. And by the age of 14, she was a force to be reckoned with. She had brains. She had beauty. She had charisma. She was just all around like the ideal package as far as like
desirable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things dramatically change for her. I say it's not great, but maybe she saw it as good because like in that time period it was a lot different. And I would like to give a trigger warning. There will be trafficking because that's what happened in this time period. So go ahead and skip ahead to, if you're watching, there's going to be a little thing on the screen, a little timestamp on the screen to skip forward to. And if you are listening, I'll have it in the description below. So, that being said, in this time period, there was something called routine concubine recruitment. Yeah, it's gross. There's nothing we can do about it, so we're just going to try to get through this part as quickly as possible because this is what their culture was like. Okay, anyway. So, regular government organized selections would happen in these time periods. They would go around, they would send government officials to look through young women, girls, to go live in the palace. They would choose girls between the ages of 13 and 16. And they did this for a few reasons. They needed concubines. They needed ladies in waiting. They needed attendants. They needed musicians. They needed palace workers. It was also to ensure the heirs of the emperor, to ensure there would be heirs for the emperor. It also was to strengthen political connections. So the families of the girls would receive praise and they would be boosted in like the hierarchy of sorts, and they would get recognition and receive a higher status if they were to have their daughter chosen. Gross. And it was also kind of a way for the imperial government to kind of display power over the people. You know, like to be like, hey, we can take anybody we want whenever we want. Gross.
But this is a good thing.
Yeah. And you can probably guess Wu Zetian was chosen in 638 CE. And she was brought to the palace at age 14 as a 5th level concubine.
What does that mean? What are the levels? What does this mean?
So there's, okay, it's like a hierarchy of sorts. At the very top, you're going to have the Empress, the wife of the emperor. Then below them is like a first level. They're pure consorts. So those are the ones that are like most favored by the emperor. And then you have second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level. And I don't know how far it goes, but I think fifth level is the lowest, which means you're not very favored by the emperor. But if he wants you, he could still have you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Gross. But I believe that from what I found, it seemed like the emperor didn't really like her that much. And she was off-putting to him.
Hopefully she had a sassy mouth, and that's why. Like, sassy enough to not get killed, but like she balanced it well. Okay.
It's funny that you say that because she actually later on tells a story. I don't know if this is true or not, but she tells a story. And it's like written in documents because after she became emperor, she was telling this story to another world leader at the time to kind of like scare him, I think. But also to be funny, I don't know. So she said when she first arrived, the emperor was talking about how there was this horse at the palace that could not be tamed at all. Like he was like, no matter what we do. And she walks up as this little 14-year-old and she's like, I can tame him. Creepy as hell.
She pulled a Wednesday Addams.
Basically. And then he's like, how? and she's like, well, and I didn't write it down because I didn't know if it was going to be important, but I think it's a funny little story. She's like, I'm going to whip the horse. If that doesn't work, then I will beat the horse with something like a mace or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then she says that if that doesn't work, she'll kill it. And, like, I don't think that, like, I don't know if that's true or not. She could have just made it up to, like,
That's a
scare
fun
this
story, though.
politician. Yeah.
There has
But,
to be
like,
a reason why he didn't want somebody who was smart and pretty and capable.
No, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think she was doing that stuff on purpose to make herself off-putting to him so he wouldn't touch her.
Good.
Because if anything did happen, it was few and far in between. It was very well known that the emperor, when she entered the palace, didn't really like her that much. Not like he didn't dislike her, but she wasn't one of the favorites by any means.
Okay.
Anyway, so the emperor at this time was Emperor Taizong, and he was 40 at the time she entered the palace. Yeah.
Okay.
So now let me tell you a little bit about that emperor and his kind of succession after him. So we have Emperor Taizong, and he had 3 sons that were in line for the throne. And like any family, you have drama. We love a bit of family drama.
A little bit of family tea.
Go ahead and get your tea ready, guys, because we got some...
It's coffee, but okay.
We got some imperial tea today. Anyway, so the oldest was extremely impatient, and he wanted that crown, and he wanted that crown right now. So he tried to stage a coup. It failed. And he got exiled in 643 CE.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Then we have the second son. And he was kind of like trying to take advantage of this brother's coup and the chaos that it caused so he could claim the crown. Because he was like trying to manipulate things in the background. He was trying to like... he was like spreading rumors and like scheming, and he was trying to pull the strings behind the scenes, and he would like go to his brother and be like, hey, you'd be a better emperor.
Oh my gosh.
But then he would go to other people and be like, hey, he's trying to overthrow the government and like he should die. Like crazy behavior. So after the coup was stopped and it was investigated, guess who was found untrustworthy?
And the one who was lying.
Yep. So he was also exiled the same year. And this leaves the third son, Li Zi. He was only 10 when Wu entered the palace. And there wasn't any records indicating that they interacted when they were younger.
Okay.
But I think they did.
But like tea. Of course
But I think they did. And at the age of 15, Li was appointed crown prince. So all this went down when Li was 15. So this is 5 years after Wu enters the palace. 11 years later, Emperor Taizong passes away. At the ripe old age of 21, Li, also known as Emperor Gaozong, takes the throne and becomes emperor. And all of Emperor Taizong's concubines were removed from the palace. And they're usually sent to like monasteries or like to just go live out the rest of their days because it's very, very bad for anyone to sleep with the emperor's concubines, even if the emperor never slept with them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so at this point you're like, well, what about Wu? At the age of 25, she was sent to a Buddhist monastery to live out the rest of her days. Oh no, but that can't be the end of her story.
Oh heck no. She said no. She said no.
So this is why I think they interacted.
Oh my gosh, the bite, the finger bite.
Because guess who came to visit Wu?
The king or the emperor? Really?
The new emperor. He was like, hey, how you doing? And he would go and they would sit and talk for hours. They wouldn't do anything. They would just talk and they would have deep and meaningful conversations because he was a fellow intellect and he appreciated intellect. And then at this point, he was kind of already married because you kind of have to be because you're the emperor, right? I think he got married before his father died.
Arranged, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was definitely arranged.
Mm.
And out of all of like over 100 concubines, he only sought her out. He only went to go find her to talk to her. And he kept visiting.
She's a philosopher or whatever. She's smart. She's different.
She's not like the other girls. So this is super scandalous because remember earlier I said it was not good for anyone to be with a former concubine because of Confucianism. And it was so taboo that he was like just visiting his father's former concubine. And it was seen as like extremely disrespectful. It would be like if you're a son of a man. I don't know. It would be it would be like if your dad died and you started dating your stepmom. That would be like the vibe. It's like, ugh,
Okay.
Why are you doing that?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
that's like, even though there's, especially because like the age difference between the new emperor Li and Wu, they were so much closer in age.
Okay.
That it makes more sense almost, you know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, so he was already married to the Empress Wang. And this is when it gets juicy. So, as every emperor did, Emperor Li Zi had so many concubines. And because that's just like how it worked back then, you know? And he had this concubine named Pure Consort Zhao. She was his favorite and one of the the highest ranking concubines. So like just below the empress herself, you know?
Right.
And he was in love with her. And she was gorgeous. And she had already produced a son and had 2 other daughters with him, which assured her position in the palace. And guess who hadn't had any children yet?
Who?
Empress Wang. Ooh. And he did not love her romantically. It was a political marriage. And so her position was not secure in the palace, and she knew it, and she was scared. So, to kind of buy her time, she knew that the emperor had been going to visit this old concubine at this monastery, but maybe like once a month, whereas he was seeing Pure Consort every day. And she was like, if I bring this ex-consort back into the palace, he will spend all of his time with her, or he'll spend majority of his time with her, and then I'll have more time to get pregnant, so he isn't spending time with the other woman. Because he can't marry this lady because
Right.
it's gross.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously.
Oh. So, guess who comes back into the palace?
She made her way back.
She made her
I
way back.
love a determined girl.
But, like, none of this was, like, her doing. She was just kind of there along for the ride.
But if she's smart enough, she's gonna be putting herself first.
Oh, for sure.
In these situations, yeah.
For sure. Anyway, little did Empress Wang know that she just set up the dominoes that would not only make her lose her title, but it would make her lose her life. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode.
Oh my gosh.
But Wu's back in the palace, baby. She's back. In the palace.
I need to already know. No, I want to know what happens.
You're going to have to wait till next week. Well, you get to know now.
I mean,
but...
but you do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
It really is so dramatic.
I know. What do you think so far? And this isn't even, this is the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's crazy.
Stuff's about to go down.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you can't wait to get into part 2, because this shit gets crazy.
Yeah, that's what she was telling me. She was just like, I'm gonna do, like, the first part whenever it's my turn. It's just gonna kind of, like, give us some context about, like, the people and the time era and, like, stuff that's going on. And then she's like, then I am going to wreck your head. That's pretty much what she was just like
wreck
this,
your life. But you're going to be on the edge of your seat. You're going to be like, oh
exactly.
my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was, at least. Maybe you won't. Maybe you hate all of this. Maybe you won't listen to part 2, which that's crazy because I left it on a great cliffhanger.
I did really good.
I did really good, actually. It's a really good story.
But yes, I am fortunate to hear the rest, and you guys are going to have to turn your attention to part 2 that comes out next week and figure out how this girl took the crown.
Yeah. How'd she take the crown? How did she change the world or change history? Like,
yeah, like, what is the significance apart from being the one and only ever female emperor? That's kind of crazy, but
I'm so excited. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Like, comment, subscribe, drink your water. All of the above. Guess what she's got today?
I'm feeling merry. Do you see this? Like, we're feeling a little bit merry, okay?
I'm always in the same vibe.
Darkness. Mood.
Revelry in the dark. You don't get that. For all my nerds out there. Revelry in the dark.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And you don't. But you should.
Don't. Is it D&D or no?
No, it's anime.
Oh, anime.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Well, then we will see you guys next week. Take care of yourself. Be nice to other people. Be kind to yourself. Do all the things that you want to do this week because you deserve it. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh my God.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I hate myself sometimes. Bye, guys.
Bye.